You're on now. Alrighty. Welcome, everybody. Hello, everybody. And thank you for coming to the journey, artists around the world. We are so excited to have different artists on this platform tonight. And we're going to get ready to get started. Put all your information, your chats inside the box. Make sure it's good comments for your audience, for your artists. And we're going to get started. Our first artist is going to be Winter Darks. Winter Darks.
Hello, hi, I'm Winter. And I wrote this song, it's called Night. Over and over, I am left alone in a fog. So many things are being left undone. In my sleep, I go to all of the places that I love. So tell me why I'm close to giving up. Usually helps to know that you won't say anything. Would be nice to know that you won't say anything. What makes me wanna stay just to see? What makes me wanna stay just to hear one last word, one last time? What makes me wanna stay just to see? What makes me wanna stay just to hear one last word, one last time? Always giving hell for being just the way I am. Find a quiet place inside before I lose my mind. But this time could be brand new as things get clear. I stand near a bright light at the end of this doom. that you won't say anything. Would be nice to know that you won't say anything. What makes me wanna stay just to see? What makes me wanna stay just to hear one last word, one last time? What makes me wanna stay just to see? What makes me wanna stay just to hear one last word, one last time, last time. You can't tell them what you see, but they'll find me. You can't tell them what you know, but you don't. You can't tell them where I'll be. What makes me wanna stay just to see? What makes me wanna stay just to hear one last word, one last time? Thank you. Thanks very much. I don't know if anybody's talking, but I can't hear anything. Thank you, thank you. Ah, I like that one. Lots of really great comments. I appreciate that like a lot. It's really hard to do your own art. And that's why you're all here too. But thank you. These are really awesome comments. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, those were like amazing comments. I can't hear anything, but.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I heard somebody, yep.
Okay, I was on.
Everybody, please stay on mute. Thank you. Put all your chats into the chat room. Thank you. Mudit Comedy. Go ahead and mute yourself. Mudit Comedy.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. Can you go ahead for me?
Yes, I can. What is going on, everybody? I am happy to be here. My name is Mudit, and I'm a comedian. So hopefully this goes well. I like doing comedy while everyone's muted, because that way I can assume that, I'm unconditionally funny from start to finish. It doesn't matter. Laughter, no laughter. We can, we can do this. So yes, my name is Mudit. That's spelled M-U-D-I-T. But despite it being in my first name, I don't work in IT. I do not work in IT. I know I give off those super cool, chill, like IT vibes, those super cool vibes, like I can totally fix your printer vibes. I probably can, but I don't work in IT. I do not work in IT. I'm actually a pharmacist. I'm a pharmacist, which means because I'm Indian, I'm a cheaper version of my parents' expectations. My parents wanted a doctor that writes prescriptions, not takes them, So they wanted a giver, not a receiver. But I told my folks, I told my parents, I told my folks that I do have an MD. I have an MD, and it's in my first name. It's just you that got in between the MD. Get it? MUDIT. You got in there. That'll show them, huh? Yeah. Bear with me, everybody. I actually typed up some new jokes on my Nintendo Switch. Super cool video game system. I usually write my jokes on pen and paper, but I figured it was time to switch things up. Now, I used to work at a bank. And I thought the term bottom line was a corporate expression for butt crack, because there's a line at the bottom. Turns out the people in the bank, they're looking at like the profit line, the line that goes upwards. It's a little different. What else can we talk about? For Halloween was like a couple weeks ago. I dressed up as a minion. A minion is that cute little yellow cartoon character from the movie Despicable Me. I wanted to go as one of the Simpsons, but my parents still don't let me watch that show. I don't know how they find out about what I watch on the TV, but gosh darn it. One day I'll have a hootin' and hollerin' Halloween, For this next bit, I'm gonna use a prop. Oh, I found it. I'm gonna use a soccer ball for this next bit. The thing is, I wanted to play soccer at one point in my life at a higher tier, but if this next bit doesn't go well, then I'll be bawling in tears. So here we go. I'm gonna adjust the view. Okay. All right. Looks like you can see me and the soccer ball. Now, as you can see, I clearly dressed up for the occasion. Halfway, that is. I dressed up halfway. And this bit is about multitasking. It's about multitasking. And as you can see, it's difficult juggling just one commitment in life. And this is a representation of that, Like, let's say I want to go on vacation. Let's say I want to go to, let's say Panama City Beach in Florida. That's a good beach. Let's say I get a couple of days off and boom, right back to work. I'm going to tell a couple more jokes. As you all know, I have a unique name, which is Mudit. And I have a fun way to remember my name. Just think back to the kids' movie called Madagascar. It's from 2006, bunch of animals, Madagascar. And Madagascar is a theme song, and it goes, I like to mood it. Thank you, everybody. That is my time. Thank you.
And thank you. And we'd like to know, what started you to do comedy?
Ooh, I started comedy. Let's see, I started comedy in summer of last year, 2019. And I started because I had a friend that's a few years older than me. And he was doing it for a couple of years. So he was like a mentor figure. And he just kind of pointed me out and said, why don't you give this a shot? I was very thankful for him. And thankful that he had an open mic set up and had me get on. So it was scary at first, but I was really thankful to have a mentor that was in place to guide me through. So that's my story.
And what inspired you to be on this journey, artists around the world?
What inspired me, I would say comedy helps me get to know myself. It helps me get to know myself. It helps me get to know how I fit in with the world. And if when I don't, how I can change and cause or promote changes and see how I can best help people, make people laugh, smile. I love learning about new cultures. I love meeting new people. I love meeting new artists. And that's what keeps me on this path.
All right. Well, thank you. And go ahead and put your information in the box where people can contact you, support you, and everything that you do.
Awesome.
And thank you for coming on to this journey, artists around the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. and we're going to keep it going. Is Yourz Trulyyt here? Yourz Trulyyt.
Yes, ma'am. What's going on?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Go ahead and do a selection for us.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Yourz Trulyyt, and what I'm about to do right now is a record called Laugh Now, Cry Later from my recent EP, True to Yourself. All right, check it out. Hey, it's Yourz Trulyyt. Yourz Trulyyt, Yourz Trulyyt. I say, when I look around, thinking to myself, why do good people get treated so bad in this world? I'm talking about those who sincere with a positive mind, good intentions, humble spirit, and they honestly trying. You see, I understand the situation at hand, the reality you really have to go through. I know you don't go out into the world looking for trouble. It's just the world has a way of starting trouble with you. When you lowly and meek, people treat you like you weak. They come at you like a wolf in disguise as a sheep. You try to be a helping hand and they taking advantage. You try to do right by them, but they take it for granted. I understand it. The reasons why you feel like giving it up, surviving off your last dime while they living it up. These type of people always getting the shine, but what they don't know is only for a limited time. So let them have theirs, cause you gon' get yours. Let them have theirs, cause you gon' get yours. Let them have theirs, cause you gon' get yours. And when you get yours, yours gon' last forever. Hey, and no one can take it away. What's yours was meant just for you. So keep faith, be patient. Everybody who laugh now gon' cry later. Why do bad people get treated so good in this world? I'm talking about those who cause misery physically, mentally, emotionally, but they always seem to get away. No matter what they do, they always seem to get their way. People make excuses for them and look the other way as if they're greater and you're less. But you're special because you're set apart from the rest. And what they don't know is he's watching. He sees sitting high, looking low, keeping tabs on every foul move, every secret plan, every soul of man that rejoices in evil acts. These are facts, so you don't ever have to envy what they got. Be a part of what they do and become something you're not. Because right now, it seems like they getting down, but what they don't know is all being written down. So let them have theirs, because you going to get yours. Let them have theirs, because you going to get yours. Let them have theirs, because you going to get yours. And when you get yours, yours gonna last forever and ever, and no one can take it away. What's yours was meant just for you. So keep faith, be patient. Everybody who laugh now gonna cry later. Let them have theirs, cause you gonna get yours. Let them have theirs, cause you gonna get yours. Say let them have theirs, cause you gonna get yours. And when you get yours, yours gonna last forever and ever, and no one can take it away. What's yours was meant just for you. So keep faith, be patient. Everybody who laugh now gonna cry later. Why do good people get treated so bad in this world? I'm talking about those who sincere with a positive mind, good intentions, humble spirit, and they honestly trying. You see, I understand the situation at hand, the reality you really have to go through. I know you don't go out into the world looking for trouble. It's just the world has a way of starting trouble with you. Because when you lowly and meek, people treat you like you weak. They come at you like a wolf in disguise as a sheep. Try to be a helping hand, they taking advantage. Try to do right by them, but they take it for granted. I understand it. Why you feel like giving it up, surviving off your last dime while they living it up. These type of people, they always getting the shine. What they don't know is only for a limited time, so let them have theirs. Have theirs.
And thank you. And thank you. So
Oh,
what
yeah.
inspired you to be
Yes.
an artist? What inspired you to be an artist?
Well, you know, for me, music was like second nature for me. You know, it was a talent and a gift that kind of came from, you know, my family, and I was just one that decided to, you know, take it and use it for good. You know, use it for the greater good. And you know, I thought what better way than to try to, you know, just create things that would be beneficial for the lives of people, you know, good people, of course. You know, I just feel like it's so much negativity in the world, and I got a lot to offer, you know, with positivity. So I felt it was a need and it was important for me to really take it serious. And, you know, that's what I'm doing. That's what brings me here today, you know.
And what inspired you to be on the journey artist around the world?
Oh, what inspires me to be on a journey artist around the world is, you know, I'm just really supportive of anything that is positive, and I really like the fact that the journey artist around the world is given the opportunity and a platform for artists like myself to showcase their art and really just, you know, put the message out there, because I feel like, you know, it's so much, there's so many other outlets that really don't cater to the positive. You know, it's so much negative. And I just think, you know, this particular platform is definitely a benefit to those who are really understanding the positive mind, you know. So that's really what, you know, I admire about the Journey artist.
All right, well, thank you. And go ahead and put your information in the chat box. We can find you and support you and all that you do. Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And now we're going to have CEO Allen Pough to come back again for our intermission. Allen Pough.
Can you see yourself?
Looking through the back blocks every day, ducking the cops like the spot box. You do a pretty beat and do some rap name. And spit the cops if addicted like cocaine. Watch explain the leadership of my madness. Rock bodies in the river packed up in plastic like explosive. I meditate the switch. Cats, when the 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 cats, when the
Underground keep still testing the big things you festival there are times I put the big kids complain that on a large scale relatability wouldn't be a thing. The structure Drugs, living, money, living, your prices. As long as you got me keep on all of your devices. This time around, fun definitely intended. More of the taste to become highly recommended. Sell out, the world always asks for prices. From Major League Winners, giving double the prices. Price of the national figure, you open your head. Yeah, the price is irrational, but ain't how to get ahead. Fortunate fan, what sacrifice the same? How much am I willing to give up to dominate the game? My thoughts are ahead of where I'm physically at. Now which open mic can I afford to be at? Cause see, my money's missing coming, just like a run on. But if I pull fast on, I got to be right.
Like your ass, so ease up the pace. Push harder, don't be in the same place. Many down, now we'll never forget. We're headed to the top with the sun on our backs. Never get down. We're destined to win. Trying to go straight, this world says. I'll be you, live and direct. For actions and words, it's one thread. Yo, plus, 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 plus. I don't want to play that. I'm gonna play It's only because we life. When I get a place and I drive to the money and I love the whole race. I live face to face with my life's ways. I slowly came in the place. They didn't know I live mine with great place. Now here's a story from a poet who lived in the life of freedom. People that got life into peace, the names and ages. I not to be mentioned in the story. And the number summons and your wife is supporting. Here's the 40, 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 here's the 40. My soul in my music, showing every track. I'm the man in charge, off like a quarterback. Like interested in crap, I have no share with cops. I can still brag about it, but the charges never drop. Days in courts, in front of my name. Yet I have cash, that's locked up my way. My mind being tripping, I should be yeah, I paid myself, I'm about to blow this year. I took the fact, no 40 at my haters. I chose to not give myself with the favor. Accident like cable, I don't need to judge people talking about me. I'm the devil from stand firm, and I'm a cool juggernaut. I get mine all the time, like a movie cop. Yeah, watch your
you. Thank you. And thank you guys for intermission. Thank you for Allen, CEO Allen Pough and Lady V Productions. I want to say thank you. Thank you. So we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. We got in our next artist, Chaz. Chaz, you're up next, Chaz.
How you doing?
How you doing? All right, ready for your selections?
Okay, yes I am. First spoken word I'm gonna put together is called Fortress. Something I wrote a little while ago. A fortress of fortitude held my composure. Have I mentioned the window with overexposure? A mattress, no sheets. I'm fed while in bed with little to eat. I fled in my head, but not on my feet. I am almost comfortable when I am asleep. The darkness allows me to see what I please, but never have I been once on my knees. No voices, just screeching of noises, long pauses, waiting for applauses, an audience perhaps with fingers to snap, comparing and daring me to relapse. An encore when I snore, my freedom when I soar. Tell me again, where do I begin, if not in the same place where I committed these sins? That's my first piece, Fortress. Next piece is called Consider. Consider these thoughts, these improper fractions, like reading a book with heavy redactions, unscrabbling words while making some traction, then turning the page with no satisfaction. These tactics are clear, at least in my brain, like somehow I need to relive the pain. This book that I'm reading tells a story I'll claim, but towards the end, blank pages remain. The lessons I've learned could not see more clear, but at least I'm no longer living in fear. The clarity I've obtained, I can't let disappear, while anxiety sometimes creeps from the rear. My eye ducts are dry, and I cannot shed any more tears. It's fascinating to me, reliving these times, and how all things in my past somehow align. The present is a treasure that's always on time, and the future, I imagine, is within the journey I'll find. Mistakes I have made, I cannot always define, but not learning one's lesson is the most horrid of crimes. That one was called Consider, and I think I have time for one more. So this one here is Untitled. It's actually one of my newer pieces. I don't know what to really make of it, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Full consistency with high velocity, heartbeats like strings. They play melodies that ring in my heart, which subsides the sting. We tend to be the last to see potentially a trend that won't bend. It stands in full command. I decide to let go, so marvelous and so forbidden. A conundrum of sickness, while we beat drums with forgiveness, holding keys and chords as we play to our own accord, harsh frictions in the distance, convictions consistent with traditions. What have we become if not lost? The cost of salvation is extradition to a place that's closer than it appears. The mind and body can be contained to release its inner tension while releasing all of its fears. A work in progress for most. Unless we recall the original purpose we host. Nothing more worthless than being unfocused, unable to notice how atrocious our world has become. How can I approach this and not feel hopeless, subjected to feel numb? We are enabled, encoded with feeble relics that can't protect us from ourselves. Singing with lumped throats, let my people go, a slow but steady chant that turns to heavy rants as they throw us their crumbs. Blunt force trauma to those who will not succumb. This does not determine who or how we will overcome. Battle after battle continuing on and on. We realize what brutalized. The war was never won. I don't know how much time I have left. If you want another one, I'll do another one.
Yeah, you do one more.
Sure.
That'll be it. One more for us.
Okay. This one I wrote during the election. This was my feeling on it. It's called Despair. What I feel in this moment is hopelessness and despair. And to this republic in which it stands, one nation under God that is no longer here. I'm afraid of an upcoming decision I presume will not be fair. I see the place I was raised soon to no longer be there. And the only reason I could think of is some aren't aware. And for some ungodly reason, others that just do not care. I'm baffled at the thought how people can compare. Black lives do matter. Now that much is clear. I wonder what's next up here. The eradication of a group of people because their skin is not fair. The king in his castle way up in the air, determining positions and making decisions by using measures of fear. A transfer of power with terminal terror, the deviation of hate that has now reappeared, and a pandemic, if they planned it with strategic commitment that moves with persistence while we fight with resistance, normally no, formally to a land in the distance that I've read in fable tales. Hunger Games with the same details, but just like in the books, we must prevail. The will of the people cannot be failed, but stories are subjective. Some root for the bad guy. I missed the last guy. They changed the cast. Why? Maybe to diffuse the power we inhale. And as he left, we felt it in the air. Something was afoot. I remember it very well. Now the man with the tacky suits wants so much to be held. Does he even know what the job entails? He thinks everyone and everything is for sale. The chosen ones, he once muttered. And some will follow him straight to hell. So yes, what I feel right now is hopelessness and despair. After all this is said and done, our republic might no longer be here. And that is that piece.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Thank
what
you.
inspired you? What did inspire you to be an artist?
Well, I don't know about being an artist.
Uh-oh. Let me go back up.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now go ahead.
Okay. So yes, I've been writing mostly my life, every process, every decision that I've made. Writing's always been part of it. The good times, the bad times, it's pretty much my therapy. But the field that I'm in at work is basically entertainment. So I'm around a lot of musicians, a lot of film makers and such, and we all got together and they noticed my writing, and that's how the artist part came in. So I've been doing some spoken words. I just dropped the album called Tenses. It's on every streaming platform. My first video is on YouTube. It's called Pain. It's from the album. You guys should want to check that out. And so that's where it all ends right now. So, well, this is the beginning, I should say.
And what inspired you to be on the journey artists around the world?
Well, I want to hear people's messages. I know I have a message, and I feel like most writers have a message. So if we could all bring our messages together, I think we could do some good.
Well, thank you. And thank you for letting me have you on the
Oh,
journey artists around the world. And go ahead and put all your information in the chat room so people can find you and support you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Our next artist will be Janae Walker. Janae Walker. Janae,
Hello. Can you hear me?
how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing tonight? Thank y'all for
All
coming.
right, go ahead.
I'm not 100% sure what the song's about. I think it's about a temper tantrum. So here we go. It's called Why Won't You Give Me What I Want? Do just like I say, or I'll run away and you'll be sad. Why you being mean at a Dairy Queen? don't make me mad. Why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want? You'll be missing me, and my funny teeth just make me smile. It's not so hard to do. Pretty please and thank you. Give it now, now, now. Why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want, want? Why won't you give me what I want? I don't want to wait until I'm older. I don't want to wait until you're gone. I don't want to sneak and get it any old way. I don't want to wait till your back is turned. Oh, I just want to play. It would make my day. Just pick me up. We could have some tea, Papa, you and me. The party is all dreamed of. Why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want, want? Why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want, want? Oh, why won't you give me what I want? Why won't you give me what I want? Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me onto the platform. Hope you guys like that one.
Thank you. So what inspired you to be an artist?
Well, I've pretty much been a singer and a songwriter for as long as I can remember. I only started actually pursuing singing in like my mid-20s and whatnot, but I've been writing for about 15 years. And it's just something that I would do to express myself. And, you know, it just allows me to work through feelings, and it's just a good way to share what I'm feeling.
Oh, nice. So what inspired you to be on the journey artists around the world?
Well, what's inspired me to really just start getting on platforms in general, particularly this one, is oddly enough, the pandemic. You know, I never used to play out and whatnot, but the strange thing is, you know, kind of being in lockdown, and, you know, you're having time to think and time to, you know, perfect your art, you know, if you're fortunate enough to be able to do that. This seems like a really great way to put yourself out there. And it doesn't get any less pressure than being in your home or your living room or your space, you know, and you get to share with people that, you know, that you probably wouldn't be able to share with even if you were going out to your neighborhood. Meeting people from all over the world, all over the country. That's what I like about this particular open mic. You get to share with people that you might not normally get to, and you get to hear all sorts of really great poems and comedy and music. So that's what I really like about this particular showcase.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having you on the journey artists around the world.
Thank you guys. Thank y'all.
Our next artist, Nava, Sofa, Navala, Nirvana, can you hear me? Nava, Banana, you're next. Yeah.
Yvonne.
Yvonne.
Yvonne, yeah. I heard Nirvana and I'm like, who's that? Yvonne.
Yvonne. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. All right, so I'm a bilingual poet. So I write my poetry in English and then to my native Spanish. And so I will say the exact same thing. So don't worry. I know people say they don't understand Spanish, but I'm saying the exact same thing. So my first poem is called Border. Because as happy as we are with the election results, there are still families at our border that are still separated. And so I'm writing on behalf of the families, no political stuff, but the families, border. Backed by my husband, Ken Rao, by the way, his original music. These fake walls of self-loathing and hostility do not separate your beginning and my end. I feel your ache and hunger and all the bruises in your heart. I hear the harsh words yelled at you in foreign tongue. My dearest, I am holding you up away from all this political dust, swirling with hatred, misnomers, and labels that do not apply in most encounters. I am beside myself and near you, protecting you with prayer, blessings, and love, keeping faith in something greater, greater than rivalries, than society, greater than the melting Antarctic icebergs, greater than the overflowing seas cutting disrespectfully through previous soil, greater than the current egos and future promises, all their words and physical manic gestures, forgotten and lost in that very swirl of dust. I am here on the other side, longing for you, wanting to be your comfort. I love you to pieces and will put you back together from what they have done. My love, my everything, my child. Estas paredes falsas de autoestima y hostilidad nos separa tu principio y mi final. Siento tu dolor y hambre y todos los moretones en tu corazón. Escucho las palabras fuertes, te gritan en lengua extranjera. Mi querida, te estoy sosteniendo, alejado de todo este polvo político, remolino con odio, nombres inapropiados y etiquetas. Esto no aplica en la mayoría de sus circunstancias. Estoy en el aire cerca de ti, protegiéndote con oración, bendición y amor, manteniendo la fe en algo más grande de las rivalidades, más grandes de la sociedad, más que los glaciares antárticos que se derriten, más grande que los mares desbordados, que cortan irrespetuosamente a través del suelo anterior, más grande que los egos actuales y las promesas futuras, todas sus palabras y gestos maníacos físicos, olvidado y perdido en ese mismo remolino de polvo. Estoy aquí, al otro lado, anhelando por ti, queriendo ser tu comodidad. Te amo a pedazos y te volveré a amar de lo que te han hecho. Mi amor, mi todo, mi hijo. So that was my slightly political statement. Thank you. Thank you. This next one is called Platform Babe. And I was at Grand Central, just waiting for the train. I see this woman who looks elegant and, you know, coming home from work. And I noticed she's disfigured. She has some scars, but she still carried herself with pride and dignity. And so I wrote this about her and for her, Platform Babe. Grotesquely, she walks in beauty, geometry amok, sullen-eyed and heavy lids. Downtrodden spirit holds her pride, hidden by crooked skin, yearning love. Twisted smile keeps the laugh, hidden joy repressed, suspended. Unknown pleasure to be seen, and yet grotesquely she walks in effervescent beauty, gorgeous in disguise, elegance tucked away, immaculate and shy, pale as moonlight, soft as satin, quiet and demure, she recedes into the night, a whisper never spoken, grotesquely she walks in beauty. Grotescamente camina en belleza, geometría salvaje, ojos huraños y párpados pesados, espíritu pisoteado, guarda su orgullo, tapado por piel torcida, deseando amor, sonrisa chueca, aguanta la risa, alegría oculta y reprimida, placer desconocido y todavía grotescamente camina en belleza efervescente, maravilla en disfraz, elegancia escondida, inmaculada y penosa, pálida como los rayos lunares, suave y sedosa, callada y recatada, se desvanece hacia la noche, un susurro nunca hablado, grotescamente camina en belleza. I love the way he plays this. Thank you.
And
Do I have
thank
time
you.
for one short one,
one?
or is that it?
Thank you. And what inspired you to be an
Oh, I
artist?
guess not. Okay. Back in high school, just a few years ago, it's just a release, and of course, my writing has matured as you know you grow up, and themes change and life changes. And I think Janae and a few other people have said, and Chamiyo has said as well, you deal with your emotions, you deal with life, you deal with relationships, and you just try to figure it all out. And you just, for me, I write it out in words. So.
Well, thank you. And so what inspired you to be on the journey artists around the world?
I'm sorry?
What inspired you to be the artist around the world?
Oh, I love to meet people, and I wish I was around the world. Yeah, and we've traveled as well. We've traveled, 23 states here? He knows the stats, but we've done the Iowa State Fair, Kentucky State Fair. We've done a lot of places in New York City, the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library, and it's lovely to meet people. I've been to Atlanta, and it's lovely, and it's interesting how people take different themes and relate to you, and you find that, yeah, you think, like I have a poem that's against guns, or against shooting, not guns.
Mm-hmm.
And where were we? Is it Tennessee? And I had some gentlemen approach me, and I thought, oh my God, they're gonna yell at me or something. And they were like, I get you, I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about the guns, you can have your guns, but it's about the type of guns and who needs to have that. And we're just human beings against hurting each other. And it just became a rap about love, actually, and caring. So
Well,
thank you for this.
Well, thank you.
Lovely
Thank
meeting
for
all of you.
being
Thank
on
you.
a platform. Thank you. Our next artist will be Sophia. Sophia.
I have some poems to share tonight. The first few are pretty short, and I'll end with farewell. And they're a mix from my chapbook and my manuscript. I can show the cover of my chapbook. It's titled The Immortal Sunflower, and a semi-autobiographical work. And the order is important, so the manuscript and chapbook, it's just mixed together. So we'll start off with Hourglass. Cool, unmuted, just making sure. Okay, Hourglass. The sand in the hourglass is missing, though the glass is not shattered. I discover the tan grains scattered in my green porcelain bathtub. I decide to let the water flow from the silver faucet and the sand swirls. The crystal clear water is too transparent, so I add blue dye. I create an ocean, and when I shut the faucet off, time sinks back to the bottom. Marble. I hold a green and blue swirled marble in the palm of my hand. This fragile sphere is a miniature earth. I am larger than life. And this one's infinitesimal stars. I shrink stars small enough to fit in my faded brown treasure chest in my closet. Equipped with my butterfly net, I capture them as they fall from the heavens. I quickly lock them up and they jounce against the wooden walls. The frame becomes illuminated, and as I rejoice, I lose the key. Cool, cool. We just have like two rocket ship. I condense the power of the ocean into one single droplet of water. It was my hot tear that warped time during my 14-day stay in the psychiatric hospital. My body no longer felt like mine, Omania. My nurse told me to paint every day. Art therapy, she said, but I could only paint countless red rocket ships that I longed to escape on, to connect my body to my mind that was somewhere lost in space and threatened by a black hole. I could feel she was disappointed in me. I taped up each identical painting to my wall just to realize that part of me was still on Earth. And then on a lighter note, Ode to a Sunflower. In outer space, a strong sunflower floats in orbit, and a lovely astronaut sprinkles joy on the sunflower. The sunflower seeds light up in a yellow spiral, one by one rapidly. Beams of light radiate out from each seed, and the petals pulsate with power. Flashes of gold in the realm of dark matter. These beams of light reach the earth, coated in a blanket of black, cutting through the darkness, zigzagging like lightning. Oh, how the sunflower shakes its head like a lion shakes its mane and showers yellow pollen that floats, drifts, and coats the darkness ever so gracefully with gold, like a rain that reaches earth. A sunflower bringing joy into this dark world. Thank you. And the final poem is Farewell. When we parted, all the water evaporated from the earth's ocean, so only endless mountains of salt remained, as heavy as the moon, as heavy as my heart. On a pilgrimage in your honor to discover the tallest mountain, I traversed through treacherous terrain, while the sheer sun against the white hurt my eyes, and with every heavy footstep, my black boots crunched the salt, where the sound ricocheted from mountaintop to mountaintop. I prevailed by reaching the sparkling summit, then laid flat on my back and made an angel, sensing her spirit rising while witnessing the pinnacle of the sunset. Its pink rays like roses without thorns. Oh, how I wish I could have bottled up that for you. For the sake of freedom, I shouted, let it rain, well equipped with my lifeboat made out of driftwood. The rain did come, dissolving the mountains, and I saw your reflection in a singular drop. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sophia. That is so good. What inspired you to be an artist?
Thank you. I've been writing for about 6 years, poetry, of course. It was like I was introduced in senior year in high school, and I just ever since loved to write and just continued forth on my journey as a poet.
All right. And what inspired you to be on the journey Artists Around the World?
Yeah, I'm very grateful to be here to share this time with this community of artists and just support one another, and just the opportunity to share some of my experiences, as a mental health advocate and someone who has struggled with bipolar disorder 1 for about a decade. It was my birthday a couple days ago, so it was officially a decade. So anyways, I just want to, show we still, thank you, can still be successful despite challenges, and can just continue forth with our lives, despite, the challenges that, people like me face. So thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for coming on to our showcase.
Awesome.
Our next artist is going to be Dee Allen. Dee Allen. Dee Allen.
I'm here.
How you doing? All right.
To shut out background noises from the neighbors and whatnot, I'm only going to do 3 poems for y'all today. And before I go into them, a little Zoom etiquette. If you like what you hear coming out of me today, you could respond by either writing your comments in Zoom chat, send me a private message, or click the reactions button for hands clapping, thumbs up. Or if you totally dig the piece that I'm doing, the heart for love. All right. And let's give it up one more time for Janae Walker from Atlanta, and Yvonne Sotomayor and her husband, and Senorina Sophia Falco. The poems I'm going to do today come out of my new book, Eloise Onichi, Poems, 2013 to 2018. And this book is separated into 3 different sections. The first section of the book is entitled Harm to Nature. And this one is autobiographical, not to mention this one happens to be one of Keyana the artist's favorite poems by me from this book. From pages 10 and 11, this is called Conundrum. As a twiggy little boy of 9, I was so curious about the bumblebees hovering over blood red roses, flesh pink roses, bushes filled with pale yellow honeysuckles that grew in my grandmother's yard. So curious when I reached out to touch one. That bumblebee stung me with its needle-like tail, leaving behind a mark, swollen red, painful, on the caramel brown of my arm. Never touched another one since. There were so many bumblebees back then, practically in swarms. Every spring, pollination time. Now I'm older, a man of 52, taller, darker skinned, closer to chocolate than caramel. Still twiggy though. Another spring has arrived and something's missing from the big ecological picture. Absence leaves behind a mark, a conundrum. Where have all the bumblebees gone? I hear different styles of music, but no distinctive droning buzz fills my ears. I see all manners of insects fly in the air, but no visible sign of the little pollinators paying any visit to East Oakland's roses. Extinction leaves behind a mark, a conundrum. Who will produce honey when the bumblebees are gone? That first poem was called Conundrum. That was my own personal rumination on the slow disappearance of bumblebees from the world. In the past 5 years, when I first wrote this in May of 2015, I would see a dozen bees at most, if any. Now it's the year 2020. We're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic still. and I would see one bee or none. Blame that on a funny little thing called global warming or Roundup weed killer. And the next two poems I'm going to do will be in salute to this month of November, which is Native American Heritage Month. And I happen to be 1/8 American Indian myself. So to get in touch with that portion of my family's ancestry, I'm going to go into these last two poems. This poem comes from the second portion of the book entitled Beauty of Nature, based on actual events and a local legend in my home state of Georgia. This is from pages 26 and 27. This is called Chalagi Rose. Ever heard of the Chalagi Rose? The US government had gotten greedy again in 1828. They'd found out there was gold underneath the southern land called Georgia. 10 years later, the US Army was sent down there to evict the Chalagi Indians from mountain homes they've held on to for thousands of years. At gunpoint, the only notice ever given, the original gentrification. The Chalagi Indians were made to take a long cross-country walk west, all 1,200 miles from Army stockades to some barren land, later called Oklahoma. Whole families marched through Mississippi winter snow without moccasins on their feet. 4,000 died from starving, freezing, disease. Mothers cried for their young as numbers of their tribe fell on the way westward. Tribal elders saw that and asked the Great Spirit high in Galunti, heaven, for a sign, anything to lift up the saddened spirits of their women. Each time a mother would shed her tears, they feed the ground along Nuna Dalchuni, the trail of tears. Another trail would form. A trail of snow white roses grew, starting from one, white as tears, and answered to the tribal elders' prayers, a sweet smelling gift from Pachamama, Mother Earth. Something to show across several states that 10,000 Chalagi Indians had survived genocide. Now you know about the Chalagi Rose, an old native legend. Real talk. That poem was called Chalagi Rose, which happens to be about the Georgia state flower called the Chalagi Rose. And its growth and everything across several states leading into Oklahoma is connected to a real life event, one that was responsible for the deaths of scores of my other ancestors, besides the ones that came from Africa, the ones that were already here, the ones that came from the state that is now called Georgia. Remember, Atlanta happens to be Chalagi land. And I wrote that for the students of Decolonize Academy here in Oakland. It was a failed attempt of reaching out to an audience outside of adults. Oh well, it made it into this book anyway. Do I have room for one more piece? Keyana?
Yes, you got one more.
Cool. Get your ears, your patience, and your attention span ready. This next one is slightly long, but it's also personal. And this comes from the third section of the book entitled Travels Through Nature. Based on actual events, this is called, from pages 55 and 59, this is called Sweat Lodge. Chololo Falls Campground, Tool River Yocut Reservation, Porterville, California, July 2006. Small tin cup full of water, tipped and poured over sacred fire, heated stones left scalding, created condensation, heated up the lodge, solitary in the wilderness near waterfall. Ceremonial site made from wooden framing and surrounding tarps and canvas. There we huddled in a circle in the darkness, practically returning to mommy's womb. Parental safety, pre-birth, sweating the weakness out of our pores, purifying ourselves beyond the hot, stifling black moment. My first sitting in a sweat lodge was everything I thought it would be. Chants, meditations, clouds of steam, extreme heat, dry, oppressive, humid as Atlanta summers, exhaustion, climate I do not miss. Rapid moisture arisen from bare, neck, shoulders, back, chest, arms, legs, bare feet, and even soaked. The white towels wrapped around my black waist. Clouds of steam, extreme heat, full body perspiration forced me to remember my 30th birthday that evening, March 3rd, 1998, my last taste of alcohol, whilst hanging out with an old friend between two taverns, my last fling as a social drinker, Heineken Dark, Rolling Rock, Jägermeister shots, blank spot in my memory, and then the morning after in my own bedroom. Never knew how I gotten there. Slowly waking, stomach churned, nauseous feeling, legs weakened, turned to crawling, not walking, back and forth between the bed and the toilet. Release of bile from my mouth to bowls hollow had me scared to eat or drink anything that day. My worst hangover superseded others past. Silent vow from inner skull, no more consuming alcohol. That long, vexing day of my own body staging its mutiny against me was the terminus of a weekend recreational rite that began in my late teens. Any beer, any ounce of liquor to impress other metalheads and punk rockers at parties. Anything to avoid the unwanted label of coward. American Indian tradition says we must heal and cleanse ourselves with closeness with our Creator. And that's where the lodge comes in. Sometimes it's good to sweat.
Thank you, Dee Allen.
That last poem was called Sweat Lodge. That was my poetic recollection of my first Native American purification ritual. My first sweat lodge ceremony, where I sat in a makeshift sweat lodge in a circle with a bunch of other souls in the dark, sweating everything out of me. But then this memory just snuck up on me out of nowhere, something I thought I'd forgotten for a long time. My last night of social drinking, followed by my worst hangover ever. So much came out of me, I thought I was gonna die any moment. But you know what but there was a good and bright side to this hangover. It convinced me to stop drinking for good. And because of that, I am 22 years clean and sober because of it. And all three of those poems I just performed came out of this new book, Eloise Onichi, now available from Conviction to Change Publishing. From this computer mic to your ears, I'm Dee Allen. Thanks for listening.
And Dee Allen.
I dedicate my portion of tonight's performance to Keyana, the artist, for setting up this whole showcase and giving me a chance to showcase my talent, and to the woman known as Magpie from Berkeley. Thank you both for giving my work a chance.
And thank you, Dee Allen. So what inspired you to be an artist?
I first started, about 3 decades ago, I started out writing song lyrics. I worked with various different bands, about several of them, but none of them that made it past the garage. And then some friends of mine thought that my lyrics were so good, they talked me into writing poetry. So I tried my hand at that, but my first attempts were not too good. I'm glad I didn't save those, as I didn't know what poetry was supposed to look like or how to express myself in that way. And then by mid 1992, I got better at it. And I just kept writing and writing poems, along with song lyrics on the side. I still write song lyrics to this day, but I write more poems than ever before. And I didn't even put out my first book until 2010, after breaking a long 7-year bout with writer's block. Imagine going 7 years without creating a goddamn thing, without writing one song, without playing any music, without writing a poem at all. How scary would that be?
Thank you. And so what inspired you to be on the journey Artists Around the World? Can you turn your video on? Sorry.
All right.
Sorry about that.
For one thing, you invited me to this. And second, I liked, ever since the coronavirus pandemic started last winter or spring, it seems like everybody was on lockdown. Everybody was told by their governors, by their mayors to stay the hell at home. And I tried to figure out another way I could promote my work, since Eloise Nietzsche came out on Earth Day. Came out on Earth Day 2020, on the 50th anniversary of the first Earth Day. And since the bookstores were closed and all the live open mics were over and done with, and nobody wasn't doing anything for a little bit, I had to figure out another way to showcase my talent and promote my book at the same time. And I started doing open mics like this. And since then, I've been performing between here in Oakland and all the way to Israel. As for the Israel gig, I thank Keyana, the artist, for turning me on to this one open mic called Jerusalem. Been there twice, great virtual open mic. Y'all should try it sometime.
And thank you. And thank you for coming on the journey Artists Around the World.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of Native American Heritage Month.
Thank you. All right, CEO Allen Pough, are you ready to close us out? And thank you, my guests and my artists, for being on this platform. And thank you for being the journey Artists Around the World. We're so happy for all the artists that's on this platform, from India, from California, from Indiana, from Georgia, from Florida, all types of artists around this platform. So thank you for representing your state and your country. Thank you. All right, Allen Pough, close us out.
Well, since we're upstairs now, we came upstairs to, watch the show and everything. We're just going to talk about, the kind of stuff that we got going on or whatever. I'm going to give the floor to Allen.
Hold on, before anything, you guys are awesome. Awesomeness. All you guys are awesome. I'm a little hoarse right now. I think I'll give me something to drink, but it's okay. First and foremost, Keyana, I love you. That's my little sister or whatever. And she asked me to get on here and play some music. Everything that I played tonight was all original music. Everything is produced by me. As you can see, the logos everywhere. This is a record label, musical production, and we also have apparel. We have apparel division, and my wife, Lady V the Poet, she has 4 books in publication. Let me hold up this your old CD. She has albums out, and currently I have 7 albums out that all were released this year. My goal is to have 10 albums out. Currently, I'm in the studio working on that now. So that's 34 tracks I'm gonna do between now and December 31st. That is my personal goal. We were talking about the pandemic. It seems as though, you know, when it came out, it gave everybody a scare, like, oh no, what's going on? You know, a lot of creative people really had to dig deep and find their hidden talent within this time. To everybody that's writing, continue to write, all your musicians, poets, singers, anybody that has that talent, and use that as a getaway from all of this craziness out there, I commend you. You know, it's funny. I mean, Bruce, I gotta be honest with you. It's funny because during this time, I became, how can I say this? I've worked so much. I produced so much. It's not just me. I have, what, 10 to 12 artists that I have on my roster. Yesterday, matter of fact, the day before yesterday, we had a recording. This is the second floor of our home, which is a studio. We have another studio. We had an event space. So we do have platforms for people to come out and perform. They will come out, perform, open mic, and then me being the music producer slash, music producer slash DJ, it's very easy for me to recruit new people that I want to work with. I say that to say this, you know, even during this darkest time, those that picked up the pen, those that continue to be creative, I commend you. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. There's no place to perform. Everything is shutting down. But half of the people end up turning on their cameras, going on Instagram, going on Facebook, getting a free subscription to Zoom. I mean, it is what it is, and you guys made it happen. You know, that's awesome. That it makes you feel like, you know what? It's I have to give a part of you, and I had to find a way to do it, and I did do it. I don't want to get on. I know I have to let my wife get on and say what she do, but you guys were awesome tonight. You know, double poetic snaps. You guys get double salutes. You know, those that still with us. You know, I know that some people had to go. They couldn't sit down and watch the whole show. You know, they get props too as well. And you guys are awesome. The name is Allen Pough, CEO Allen Pough. I'm for sure that she'll put it somewhere so you guys can follow and see exactly what I do. And it's not just music. I have all types of people I work with: reggae artists, poets, spoken word, jazz musicians, rock bands. And I'm involved with a whole lot of different things. If you see the logo anywhere on earth, that's me. All right. So I'm gonna let her take this while I drink this water right here because I'm a horse.
And so we got to the end of the show, and we want to thank Keyana, the artist, so much for inviting us on. It's like, you know, she sends me text messages, she prays for us, she's my little sister. Like we always try to, try to encourage each other, because that's what we need right now, encouragement. So like I said, I want to thank everybody for joining into the show. I mean, we had so much talent. We had comedy and singing and it's just like a variety show. And this is what, pretty much what we used to do at Hodgepodge Coffee House. We were there from like January 2015 until March of this year. And so definitely you can find my husband at Allen Pough, that's Pough, or you can go on Instagram and look up at Lady B Productions. And coming up in 2021, we're looking to have our own event space. So it's kind of like, even with the stuff going on, we're planning for next year. So definitely check out the books and stuff, Ink Blots on I-20 and Still Fabulous, Reclaiming Your Inner Goddess After a Breakup. They're both on Amazon. I'm Lady B the Poet. That's CEO Allen Pough, and we love y'all artists. Keep on creating, keep on creating.
All right, whoop-de-whoop. Hey, Keyana, we're done over here. We're done.
Thank you. And thank you guys for being on the platform. Again, my name is Keyana the Artist. You can find me on Keyana the Artist platform. My book is Why We Won't Tell versus Why Anyone Listens. You can find all my books information on Amazon as well. And thank you.